Hello and welcome to the Rogers Brief. I'm Adam Rogers. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Just finished day 2 of the Mass Casualty Commission proceedings, and it was another short day just like yesterday. It was about 2 hours worth of content today, including panel discussion introducing the affected communities around Portapique. And then secondly, there was a presentation from a commission lawyer on the structure of policing in Nova Scotia. So I'll talk about those two things briefly. Before I jump into that, just a couple of other things. One is a programming note of sorts, which is that I'll be joining Jordan Bonaparte on Sunday evening. Jordan does a podcast which is called the Nighttime Podcast. You may have already heard of it, many would probably. And that starts at 9:15 on Sunday evening. He does it live on YouTube, so you can check out his YouTube page, and I'll link to it as well on my social media account. So I'll be looking forward to that. I've been watching Jordan do his thing with Paul Palango a few times, and he does a really good job covering the issues, investigating some of the angles that others have overlooked, including the commission in some cases. So I'm looking forward to that discussion, and it'll be a good time too, because Monday morning next week is going to be when the Mass Casualty Commission releases the first of their foundational documents, and this first set is going to be dealing with the events, the immediate events in Portapique when things first got started the evening of April 18th, 2020. So that's one thing. The second thing was there was a news report that came out today. So people have been talking to Lisa Banfield's lawyer, James Lockyer, a Toronto-based lawyer. Be well known to lawyers probably in the country, but I don't know if the general public would know, but he's a quite prominent criminal defense lawyer in Toronto. Does a lot of work for wrongly accused and such. So he is saying now that he is advising Miss Banfield not to cooperate with the commission at this time, while her criminal charges on charges of providing Gabriel Wortman with ammunition illegally are still outstanding. Those are set to go to trial in March, finishing up on April 5th, I believe. So I've covered this before, and certainly the Supreme Court of Canada has spoken on this when the Westray inquiry was ongoing, and the issues there were two criminal charges against two of the mine managers for criminal negligence causing death as well as manslaughter, and the Supreme Court of Canada said at the time that they should still participate in the inquiry and testify, and there are protections in place to allow for that. So we'll see what the commission does. Emily Hill, the spokesperson for the commission, has hinted in some comments that perhaps the commission will wait until that trial is finished before determining what Miss Banfield's participation is going to be. I know many family members will be eager to hear from her, and would be quite upset if she doesn't end up taking the stand and testifying and being available for cross-examination. So we'll see how that unfolds in the coming months, I guess. Okay, so today there were two things I said. First thing was a panel discussion, and it was moderated by Alana Hurdle, who's with the Rotary Club of Truro, and it was just a discussion on the rural lifestyle. Nothing too illuminating really about the whole thing. Discuss some of the typical pros and cons of living in rural areas, which would certainly be familiar to me growing up in Guysborough. With doors unlocked, you wave to people when you meet them in the vehicle, and lots of sharing of meals, that sort of thing. So that was discussed. Some of the deeper issues that I think the inquiry is going to confront, such as policing, wasn't really covered. Well, it wasn't covered at all. Nor does the question of, what happens in a rural area when there is known criminality? Okay, so, you have a tight-knit community, there's some cooperation there. How does that look? Police may not be close by. What does that mean in terms of everybody's personal safety and how they address that? So would have liked them to get into that discussion a little more, or at all, and they didn't. So that was certainly maybe a missed opportunity there. Not sure if that was the intent of the panel discussion. I know Commissioner Stanton afterwards said the purpose was to prepare people for the evidence that is to come in the weeks, next week and the weeks after. But I think a lot more thought could have gone into the content of the panel and been used more effectively today. So the other thing that took place was a presentation from Rachel Young, who's one of the lawyers for the commission. And she talked about policing in Nova Scotia, and those that have been following these videos and my posts would be familiar with my own analysis of that. Nova Scotia is policed by a patchwork of municipal and federal RCMP forces, although policing is actually a provincial jurisdiction. And the province also runs the 911 system as well as the emergency alert system. So lots of jurisdictional questions there, overlap, potential gaps that certainly the Commission will want to examine. So overall, a relatively low-key start to the Commission proceedings this week. Yesterday we had a panel on mental health and some of the introductions. Today it was the discussion on the rural lifestyle and structure of policing. Next week is going to be very important. So starting off Monday and going for 3 days, is what Commissioner MacDonald indicated. We're going to be hearing from another Commission lawyer, Roger Burrill, who would be well known to Nova Scotians as a longtime legal aid lawyer. He's going to be presenting the foundational documents, which are the agreed statements of fact regarding the Portapique situation there, with the overnight there into the morning, everything that is known so far, or known to the Commission at least, is going to be revealed in those 3 days. And then on Thursday of next week, an important important day is that the other participants, the other parties, are going to have an opportunity to react to those foundational documents, publicly state if they have identified any gaps or if there are other issues that they feel the Commission should be addressing. So we'll be watching for that as well next week. So important stuff coming up, and I'll be there watching and be here with analysis for you after the fact, and throughout the day on Twitter as well, if you follow me at Adam Rogers NS. So, all right, that's it for day 2 of the Mass Casualty Commission, and if anything major comes up between now and Monday, I'll be back to tell you about it. Otherwise, we'll see you next Monday. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.